You're about to learn 48 of the most important principles that helped me produce on platinum albums at 18 and become a full-time producer. Most producers will never be able to get through a video because they open up reels and instantly lose focus. Be a part of the small percentage that actually pays attention and watch how different your career looks by the end of the video. All right, the first law is stop doing 18 things at once. So I talked to a lot of producers. I've talked to hundreds of producers. The one mistake, if I had to boil it down to one thing, it's people are doing way too many things at once. They're running a tight beat channel, they're trying to get placements, they're also making content, they're making R&B loops, they're making little baby beats. It's just impossible to be able to be in the top percentile for like 8 different things at once. No professional footballer was also trying to become a basketballer, and they were also a bit into fencing and they had their focus scattered. They were all tunnel visioned on being a footballer, and it's the same thing with producing. Don't get shiny object syndrome. People will be super locked in to get a placement with this guy, and then they watch one video on YouTube where some kid is printing from tight beats, and then they go, oh, well maybe I should try that instead. And they stop attacking this placement even though they were getting much closer and they were making good progress for this new shiny object, which is tight beats. And they just keep bouncing back and forward and they make no progress. All of the best producers you know, they went tunnel vision on one thing. Ask yourself, out of all of the things you could possibly achieve, what do you want the most? Maybe it's money, maybe it's placements, maybe it's to grow a personal brand. And I'd argue to even go more specific, like placement with who? Are you gonna get the placement through loops or are you gonna get the placement through beats? But get really clear on this and try not to be doing 18 things at once because it's gonna be so hard to make proper progress. All right, next law, you are the business. So there's a quote, work on the business, not in the business. Work on improving the business than working within the business. The reality is if you're watching this, you are the business, right? If you were to die, your business dies. If it's known to work on your business and you are the business, that means you have to work on yourself. That means you have to be focused on improving areas other than producing, such as your discipline, your habits, going to the gym, the type of content you consume, the type of people you're around, and naturally the success will follow. And the reason why I've got this as a law written is because I was talking to a guy recently. He's about to make $15,000 this month, but a few months ago he was struggling. And I asked him, I was like, bro, what was the difference between now and then? And he said, back then his discipline was in shambles. He wasn't going to the gym, he wasn't eating right. The moment he changed all this other stuff, his income followed. The moment he started improving himself, the success followed, and it's the same thing for producing. If you're allowing a low standard for yourself and you're shortcutting your diet or you're shortcutting the gym, you're also gonna shortcut the producing. It's all linked. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Work on building yourself up and naturally the producing is gonna take care of itself. All right, next law, resend out your best work. So if you've made a really crazy loop or a really crazy beat and you feel like it didn't get the love that it deserved, why not just send it out again? Especially if there's been like a 6-month, 1-year period since you first made it, sending it out again is always a good move. You might be thinking, oh, well, people are gonna get annoyed because I've sent the same loop out twice. The amount of times I've sent out the same loop and new people have used them, even though I sent them the loop 6 months ago or 1 year ago, is unbelievable. People aren't paying attention to you as much as you think. This is why it's a good move to just send stuff out again. I highly doubt you're gonna send a loop to your email list and some guy's gonna be like, bro, unsubscribe me from your list because you sent me this loop in September 2023. No one's paying attention. This is something that I do. This is something that other top producers do. It's better just to send out old stuff than to send nothing at all. All right, next law, provide value first. I'm gonna use a personal story and then I'm gonna segue it into how it's gonna help you. So a few months ago in February, OVO came to Sydney, which is where I live. And one of the producers hit me up. He was like, yo, bro, I'm touring with OVO. Let's cook up some beats. Now he arrived in Sydney. Pretty much there were a few roadblocks or a few complications that were getting in the way of us cooking up. And I was like, this is important, right? I was like, I want to be at the house that they're staying at. So me and my friend were like, why don't we just bring our entire setup to the house, right? Provide value first. We can just drop it off there. And then at least for the week, they can make beats, they can stream, etc. And so we brought all the stuff to the house and then we're in the house. And next thing you know, we're cooking up. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this story is provide value first. When you provide value first, it's a great way to get your foot in the door, literally. It's a great way to start a relationship off because humans are hardwired to reciprocate. If someone does you a favor, you're gonna feel like you wanna return the favor. So why not start off the relationship by providing value first? One of the people inside of my mentorship program, he knows how to make Discord servers. So I told him, I was like, whenever you wanna work with a new producer, lead with the value. Tell him, hey bro, I'll happily make you a Discord server completely free. I'll make it exactly how you want it. In exchange, if you could just check out some of my loops, I'd really appreciate it. Who's gonna say no to that? Especially if you want a Discord server, it's such a great proposal. It's gonna have such a higher response rate compared to, yo, where can I send loops? Because at the end of the day, right, the guy inside of my mentorship program, ultimately, what does he wanna do? he wants to send loops. But he's taken a completely different angle. He's still getting the end goal, and he's also building a more quality relationship. It's very important. All right, next law, invest in smaller producers. So the smaller producers who haven't had their breakthrough song yet, they haven't had their big placement yet, these guys are like a dog with a fucking bone. They're so hungry. They're grinding honestly harder than the people who are already platinum and who are already gold. They just want it. So why not invest in these people? Imagine finding this person before he's about to take off. It's such a good investment. It's like Bitcoin in 2013. These people are hungry. Invest in smaller producers. I know a lot of big producers and their egos are too high to work with a lower level producer. And it's, in my opinion, it's stupid. From the smaller producer's point of view, if they see a bigger guy paying them respect, giving them the time of day when the other big producers don't, when this person does take off and when they do become platinum or gold, they're not gonna forget you and they're gonna appreciate you a lot more. Because at the end of the day, the smaller producers who are grinding right now, they are the future platinum producers, right? So why not be on the winning team? All right, next law, implement quickly. So whenever you have an idea, implement it quickly. If you know you're gonna do something, don't delay it. If you know you wanna buy a guitar, if you know you wanna buy a kit, if you know you wanna upload a YouTube video or start making reels, implement it quickly. The longer you wait, the longer you're halting making progress. And in that time you wait and in that time you delay, there's someone who is taking action who's taking your spot. This is literally how it works. I had the idea to make this YouTube video yesterday. Now I've just woken up and I'm making the video and I'm gonna post it tonight. It has to be quick because once I post this video, then I can analyze what went well. Maybe the video flops and I can be like, okay, this needs to be changed, this needs to be changed. But if I wasn't implementing it quickly, I would be getting nowhere. If I was spending a lot of time speculating and thinking, oh, well, you know, maybe I need to wait a bit so I can get my hair cut first, nothing gets done, right? Nothing gets done. That brings me brilliantly onto the next point, which is take action and analyze it. So you hear a lot of people say, take action, take action, take action. And it's very important. But what's equally as important, this is something I've learned in the last week, is you have to be analyzing the action. I'm gonna use an example. On my other YouTube channel, I would post a lot of videos and I'd wake up and I'd check the views in the morning. And either the views were good or they were bad. Most of the time they were bad. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, views are bad, time to make a new YouTube video. Fucking stupid. Why the fuck did I do? That is a stupid way of thinking. You're never gonna make progress doing that. What I should have been doing, and what I've been doing recently, is I'll wake up and I'll binge all of the analytics. I'll be like, okay, this is a click-through rate, this was shit. All right, when did the viewers drop off? Okay, the viewers dropped off here, blah, 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 blah. Change that, change that. This next YouTube video is gonna be better. Now I know exactly what to do. That's a much better way. You're gonna make a lot more progress when you're doing things like this. And this is why I said action and analysis, because I would never have gotten that data if I didn't take the action in the first place, so if I didn't upload the YouTube video, and I never would have made those improvements for the next video if I didn't analyze it. So you need both. It can't just be one. That's a mistake personally that I've been making for the past few months, is I've been focused on action and then I'll be like, oh, okay, time to make a new YouTube video. But nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to be intentional with what you're doing. All right, next point. Why would somebody use your stuff? If someone asked you right now, all right, why should I use your samples? And you sit there and you think, oh, well, you've got some work to do. Because at the end of the day, you want to make yourself as irreplaceable as possible. If there is nothing at all unique about your samples, you have work to do, or unique about your beats, you have work to do. If you are just one of 100,000 people who make the same type of loop, what makes you think you're gonna get different outcomes than the other 100,000 people who are getting 0 results? It's just very difficult. You don't put the odds in your favor. If you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, well, how can I make my stuff unique? The most actionable piece of advice I would give is just learn an instrument, right? Like I learned the guitar. If someone asked me what makes your samples unique, I'd say, I know how to play the guitar really well. That's what I'd say. Compare that to someone who just clicks in piano midis. Like anyone can do that. You don't even have to know how to play the piano to do that. So this is just a bit of food for thought. All right, next law. It's not about what you know, it's about what you implement. So sometimes I'll talk to people and they'll be like, yeah, I already know that. And it's like, mate, but do you fucking implement it? No, you don't, because you have 0 fucking placements. You know what I mean? It kind of frustrates me actually, because the type of person who says, I already know that, has 0 fucking achievements. And I'm not saying this to have a go at anyone, but who cares what you know? Like, do you act on it? It's very easy to be like, yeah, you know, you should go to the gym 4 times a week, but do you go to the gym 4 times a week? It's not about what you know, it's about what you implement. If I was to say right now, yeah, you shouldn't watch short form content because it really fucks up your dopamine receptors, it means it's very hard to focus, and you go, skip, I already know that. And then you open up Reels 5 minutes later. Do you know what I mean? It's about what you implement. All right, next law, start videos with a contradiction that attacks assumptions. This is high level game. So this is especially useful for people with a personal brand if you're making YouTube videos or Instagram videos. Starting videos with a hook, a contradiction that attacks assumptions is everything. Now let me explain. Let me give you an example. So an example could be, the reason your beats aren't selling has nothing to do with the quality. Or you grinding 12 hours a day is the reason why you're stuck. Pretty much, you start the video with something that makes people go, wait, what? And it opens up a curiosity loop, and it means you have stolen people's attention until you give a logical explanation for what you've just said. So if I was to say the reason your beats aren't selling has nothing to do with quality, you'd be like, wait, what the fuck? What's this guy talking about? And then if I made an argument that it's more important about the network than the beats, and people with bad beats make more money because they have a better network, blah, 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 then the video is fine and it's not clickbait, it's not bullshit. But compare starting a video with that to, hey guys, so in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about how to sell beats. It's boring as fuck. People are clicking off. So you wanna hook people. All right, next law is upsell current customers. So the easiest money you're gonna make is selling to existing customers, people who have already bought from you, because they already like and trust you enough to have bought from you before. There's less friction to get them to buy from you again. So if you wanna wake up and spawn $100 out of thin air, the best move would just be to hit up people who have already bought from you before. Let's say you're selling beats, you can just tap back in with them and be like, hey bro, how's it going? Where can I send you a new beat pack? I'm actually running a deal because it's my fucking 19th birthday, blah, 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 blah. It's a lot easier to sell to existing customers than it is to sell to new customers. All right, next point is Binge analytics. So I touched on this very slightly before, but understand all of your analytics. Start tracking things. Start tracking your email open rates for your samples. Start tracking your type beats and why XYZ type beat got heaps of views and why this one didn't. And go beyond the surface level. There was an example, there was this one beat that I posted, it got 800K views. And I had posted pretty much the exact same beat like 2 weeks before on the same channel, and it got like 700 views. And through binging the analytics, I realized the difference was the thumbnail. The thumbnail on the 800K one was way better. And there was also a slight change to the intro of the sample that made it more interesting to listen to. This was reflected in the watch time. This was reflected in the CTR, which came from binging the analytics. I was watching this one video, this guy, he makes $1 million a month. And people describe him like an octopus because he wakes up, he's checking 30 different forms of analytics for the business. He's checking sales pages, he's checking views, he's checking appointments booked, all of this shit. He understands every metric to a T. And if you focus on that and improving that, naturally what you want, which is money or sales or placements or whatever it is, will also increase. All right, next law, send more congrats messages. So this is actually an underrated tip. I don't know if anyone has really said this before, but I was telling my mentorship students about this. Whenever people achieve something, let's say a producer gets a placement, just send a congrats message, start the dialogue, watch the conversation end with, yo, by the way, I need loops for this guy. The reason why I give this example is because one of my students, he was sending FLPs to a guy, but he wasn't sure if he was finishing them. And he was like, bro, what should I do? He just got a placement with this new guy that I'm trying to get a placement with. And I said, okay, why don't you just respond to his story and just be like, congrats, bro, that's super hard. And then just see what he says. So he said it, and then the guy's like, thanks, bro. Oh, by the way, I need to send you 8 beats back on your FLPs. And I was like, bro, that would have never came if you didn't just send the congrats message. So that's a little tip for you. Next one, don't sleep in the same room as your phone. So I literally started doing this a few days ago. It's a game changer. Don't sleep in the same room as your phone, because what happens is you wake up and then you check your phone because you want to know what you missed out on when you're asleep. And then it's just like, you just don't want to get out of fucking bed. It's harder to get out of bed compared to if your phone's charging in your office, which is what I started doing. When you wake up, it's boring. You're just like, all right, fuck it. Let me get up. And the next thing you know, you're working 15 minutes, 30 minutes earlier than you'd normally be working because you just tricked yourself into getting out of bed. This also helps with going to sleep. I don't really have problems going to sleep personally, but some people, they have problems going to sleep and it's because they just watch YouTube till 4 a.m. Like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? Just put your phone in another fucking room, then you're gonna be pretty bored and then you're just gonna go to sleep. All right, next one, give someone a reason to respond to your message. So I personally get about 6 DMs a day and not a single one makes me wanna respond. It's just, yo, where can I send loops? Yo, bro. Like, why the fuck would I wanna respond to that? Put yourself in the position of the receiver of the message and ask yourself, if you got sent that message, would you respond to it? Probably no. Give someone a reason to want to respond. It comes back to the first point. You can talk about opportunities, incentivize people. Yeah, I have an opportunity with this guy, you want to work on some stuff. If the opportunity is good enough, if it doesn't sound like you're lying, people are gonna wanna work. But the reality is, if you're messaging a high-level producer, yo, can I send loops? And you have nothing to your name, you have no personal brand, you have 200 followers. Your loops aren't that good. Why would they respond? No one is gonna tell you this, because this is just the harsh truth. No high-level producer is going to respond to that. They don't fucking care. Why would they want to do that? Why would they want some random guy's loops? Now, not all hope is lost, because a bit later on in the video, I'm gonna explain how you can really incentivize people to respond, how you can increase your response rate. All right, next law, care about things mentally, not emotionally. This is a game changer. So there's two types of people on earth. You got the stoner, right? The guy that doesn't care about anything, the hippie. And then the people who care about things, but they care about things emotionally. Something goes wrong and they go, oh, fuck's sakes. Why does this always happen to me? Wah, wah, they start fucking crying. It's best to be in the middle. It's best to be the combination of these two. It's best to run into problems and go, okay, how do we solve this problem? Okay, I care about this mentally. How can we come to the solution? Because the thing is, you're inevitably going to run into problems. It's literally a job as a business, as an entrepreneur, to solve problems. You get paid to solve problems. McDonald's solved the problem of people want burgers and they want them cheap and they want them quickly. That's the problem that they're solving. Right now, I'm solving problems for you guys by answering questions that you might be having about producing. We're all solving problems to an extent. So if you can't solve problems in an energy efficient way because every time you run into a problem, you start fucking crying, it's gonna be very difficult to get to the next level. Whenever you run into a problem, this is what happens. You run into the problem and then you have the crying and the, oh, why has this happened to me? Oh my God, fuck, this is so shit, panic. And then you come to your senses and then you go, okay, how do I solve the problem? You may as well just get rid of this shit and just go straight from, I've run into a problem, let me solve the problem. Because things are going to go wrong. I'm gonna talk about this a bit later, but things are gonna go wrong. You have to know how to solve problems. Try to care about things mentally, not emotionally, because you only have so much energy in a day. You want to preserve it as much as possible. All right, next one, increase your risk tolerance. So it's a common trait between all of the most successful business owners, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most successful producers. They are inherently risk takers. They take risks. Elon Musk sold PayPal for $200 million, bought a $5 million Ferrari, crashed it in 2 weeks doing a risk-taking activity, which is driving quickly, and then spent the remaining $195 million on Tesla, I think. And it got to the point where he was borrowing money for rent again. If you got paid $200 million, would you put all of it into another company to try and make $1 billion? No, right? I wouldn't do that either. That's an extreme example. But the reason why I'm saying this is because some fucking people are so scared to buy a $15 kit or a $50 kit or a one-on-one call or whatever it is. Why are you, if you truly believe in yourself, what is that tiny bit of money? If you know that a $50 kit is gonna really increase the quality of your samples and it's gonna give you a competitive edge, why the fuck are you hoarding $50? $50 is not the difference between poverty and financial freedom. It's not. It's not gonna make a difference to your lifestyle. It literally does not matter. You have to be a bit more of a risk taker. Forget investing in yourself, but some people are scared to make YouTube videos like the videos that I'm making. How do you expect to be important if you continually live in a zone of comfort and you never take that risky step? You're not gonna be able to do the same thing and get different results. You're just not. It's impossible. Like, that's not how it works. So what I'm trying to say right now is stop playing it so safe. There are so many producers out there that don't post their face. And it's like, why are you playing it so safe for? If you posted your face, automatically you put yourself in a smaller percentage of overall producers. Automatically you're standing out a bit because at least you've taken that step. But I mean, fuck me, like we used to go to fucking war and I'm talking about posting yourself. Like it's not. All right, the next law, the spotlight effect. So the spotlight effect is a psychological phenomenon where people overestimate how much attention others pay to them, their mistakes and their flaws. Now, some of you guys suffer from this shit. Some of you guys want to start a personal brand. You want to take XYZ action, but you have the spotlight effect. You think that people care about you more than you do, especially if you're either in high school or you've just recently come out of high school. You definitely think like John from high school, oh, you know, I don't want to post this video because I'm scared about what John from high school is going to say. Fuck John. John's a fucking pussy. He can fuck off. Any person that chats shit about you actively trying to make a better life for yourself is a fucking gimp, first of all. And second of all, John probably doesn't even give a fuck. He probably doesn't even think about you. The girl you think might make fun of you, she doesn't care. No one cares, right? People have the spotlight effect. People think that humans are more invested and interested in their life than reality. people don't care about you as much as you think. And if there was someone out there who was spending the finite amount of energy they have in a day sending what you did to a group chat and going, haha, look at this guy, he's a fucking loser anyways. Because who the fuck has time to do that shit? Anybody important isn't doing that because they don't fucking care because they're focused on themselves. You have the spotlight effect. You're scared about the opinion of a loser, or you're scared about an opinion that doesn't even exist. It makes no sense. You just have to get over it. I can assure you it doesn't matter. And even if people are paying attention to you, why not go through life thinking that people aren't paying attention to you? It's a more competitive mindset to have. You stop overthinking things, you stop delaying, and you start taking more action, which naturally results in success in itself. All right, next one, focus on one thing at a time. Right now, I'm making this video, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order a burrito, and then I'm gonna edit the video, and then I'm gonna upload the video. Right? One thing at a time. I'm not gonna halfway through this video quickly make a beat and then respond to this message. No. And even though it seems like obvious advice, it goes back to what I said before. It's not about what you know, it's about what you implement. Because how many times have you opened up your phone to call someone or to send a message and you ended up on Reels? We've all done it, we're all guilty, but it's because you're not focused on one thing at a time and you're not intentional with what you're doing. If I grab my phone right now and I go, okay, I'm going to check the time. I'm just saying that in my brain, 10:06. Bang. Instead of open up my phone, open up Instagram. You know what I mean? It's all distracting. It ruins the cycle of focus. You can never unlock deep work. You can never get anything productive done if you're not focusing on one thing at a time. Every time your brain switches from this thing to this thing and then this thing, it takes a certain amount of time to get into the mode of focus again. So you're just delaying progress. Boys, this video is fucking amazing, by the way. Leave a like and a comment letting me know what has been the most helpful point so far, because this is just giving me energy making this video. Let me tell you guys something really quickly. I recorded this video yesterday and I watched it again this morning and I was like, nah, not good enough. I'm doing it again. It took me like 2 hours to record. So I'm gonna add a new law right now out of thin air, which is if you're gonna do something, do it properly. If you're gonna make a loop, do it properly. Don't half-ass it. If you're gonna make a YouTube video and you recorded it and you spent 2 hours doing it and then you're like, wait, this isn't good enough, do it again. If you're gonna do something, do it properly. Don't half-ass things. This actually goes into my next law, which is be a perfectionist with the music. There have been multiple times when I've re-exported the same loop like 10, 12 times, and those were the loops that did well. Those were the loops that got used because I didn't allow, first of all, a low standard for myself, and second of all, I was a massive perfectionist. I was like, no, this isn't good enough. Let me fix it until it's good. The thing is, when you make a good loop or when you make a good beat, it's an asset that you own. It's something that you can deploy for years to come in order to make you money. So why half-ass it? Another reason why this point is so important is because when you make a really good loop or when you make a really good beat, you're gonna move differently. You're gonna be posting on your story, you're gonna make a reel out of it, you're gonna make a YouTube video out of it, you're gonna find new people to network with so you can send them the loop so they can hear it. You're gonna move with a different type of attacking energy because you know you've made something really good, which naturally, it's a compounding effect which results in more progress. It all starts in the conviction of what you've made. And how are you gonna have conviction in what you've made if you listen to it and you go, if I was bothered, I would change the volume of the guitar, but I can't be bothered. You're not gonna send the loop out with the same level of conviction and probably nothing's gonna happen. It's the tiny 3%, 5% changes which really elevate what's going on, which really take things to the next level because producing is competitive. You need any extra percentage that you can get. All right, next law, you have to work every day. And it's not for the reason that you think. You see that? I just used a hook on you. You know, now you're like, oh, let me pay attention. See guys, this is what I'm teaching you in the video. But it's not for the reason that you think. It's not because of the work that you miss in a day. It's because of all of the momentum and all of the energy that you lose from taking a day off. Have you guys ever taken a weekend off or you've taken a vacation and it just feels difficult to get back into the swing of things like it used to be? It's because you've lost all the momentum and the energy that you've built up. You've lost the discipline. Discipline is so easy to lose and it's so hard to gain. So do what you can to protect it. That's why I believe in working every single day. That's why I believe in working on Fridays. That's why I believe in working on Saturdays. And that's why I believe in working on Sundays. Because I've had breaks on Saturdays and Sundays and then I get back to my desk on Monday and it just feels like shit because you've missed 2 days worth of work. You have to respond to all of these DMs. It's just fucking shit. It's like a plane. It takes so much effort to get off the ground, but once it's off the ground, it's very easy. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It's the same thing. This is why you have to work every day. Stop taking weekends off if you're not where you want to be. It makes zero sense. All right, next one, be more persistent. So a mentorship student of mine sent me a screenshot. He sent some guy a beat and the guy was like, yeah, bro, these beats are hard. I'm gonna do something on them. And then he was like, oh, thanks, bro. And he goes, oh, like he hasn't done anything yet. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, dude, just be more persistent. Just send him a follow-up message. Just be like, hey, bro, hope you got a chance to check out the beats. Let me know if you recorded on any. I'd love to hear them. Blah, 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 blah. Just be more persistent. Don't just sit there waiting for something to happen. Because some of you guys, you sit there and you go, oh, well, if he used a beat, he's going to let me know. Like, no, he forgot. You just have to give him a nudge. You have to be more persistent. You have to be in people's faces more. If you're trying to close a guy for a beat sale and they're not responding, don't just be like, oh, okay, well, that's the sale lost. No, be more persistent. Be more persistent until they say yes or until they say, no, fuck off. If they're going to waste your time, know that they're definitely a time waster. Instead of just kind of going, oh, well, you know, maybe he'll let me know. Like, sometimes you just have to be more persistent. You have to be a bit more in people's faces. Send more follow-up messages. This is a segue into the next point. Don't take things so personally. Now, I used to do this. This is why I'm talking about this. I used to message producers and be like, hey, bro, where can I send loops? And then 30 minutes later, they'd post a story and they just wouldn't respond to me. And I'd be like, oh, fuck, like, fuck this guy, whatever, he just ignored me. Stop taking things so personally, it's stupid. I would much rather be the guy that just sends him more follow-ups. Hey bro, just circling back on this. Hey bro, unsend, resend. Be more persistent like the point I'm talking about before, instead of getting in your feelings and taking things personally, because especially if you're talking to high-level people, they're just busy. If someone doesn't respond to their message, it doesn't mean they fucking hate you and they want you to die. Maybe they were just busy. Don't take things so personally. It's business. Don't get too emotional about things. All right, next law, think you're better than other people. The reason why I've got this written down, I've been doing some marketing work for a watch company. And I was talking to one of the guys. He was actually driving me around his Aston Martin and I was filming it. It's crazy. I was changing the navigation and I was swiping through his tabs on his phone. I saw his Shopify. He was at 30K sales for the day. And I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. He was telling me on New Year's Eve, he was doing some boring admin work for his company. I said to him, I was like, bro, I can relate because on Saturday nights, I can hear everyone having fun outside. I can hear the loud music. It kind of just makes me feel better than other people that I'm working towards my goal. I don't have to explain it. You guys know what I'm talking about. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, like you do have to think you're better than other people. But the key thing is you have to earn this right. Don't be the fucking midget that goes around calling people brokies or normies, but your life is more fucked up than them. Just because you watch Andrew Tate podcasts or just because you're watching this right now doesn't automatically make you better than other people. You have to earn the right to think you're better than other people. You have to work harder than other people. You have to work on the days when other people are out drinking. You have to be at the point where you're making more money than other people. Earn the right to think you're better than other people. Don't just do zero work and think that because you listen to self-improvement stuff, you're automatically better than everyone. That is a fucking load of bullshit. Every day, earn that right. It's gonna give you an unstoppable amount of energy. It's gonna give you a different type of confidence to yourself when you know you're doing what 99% of people aren't prepared to do or what 99% of people aren't doing. It's gonna give you a different type of energy. All right, next one, be around like-minded producers. Don't be a lone wolf. Elon Musk, presidents, all the biggest business people in the world, they have advisors, they have high-level people around them so they can get advice, so they can get guidance on areas that they are lacking in. What makes you think a normal dude is an exception to this rule? What makes you think that if Elon Musk needs advisors that you don't and you can just do everything alone? You're not an exception to this very fundamental principle. You have to be around people who have already been where you want to go. It's one of the true, genuine cheat codes is being around people who have already been where you want to go, or being around high-level people. Or even if they haven't been where you want to go, they've got that work ethic that's going to lead them there. There was something called the PayPal Mafia. It was a group of former PayPal employees who went on to found LinkedIn, YouTube, Palantir. Elon Musk was in it, so all of his companies. Think about that. All of these high-level people in the same room, in the same group, bouncing ideas off each other. It becomes unstoppable. Don't be a lone wolf. My Chart Chasers mentorship program, even though I help producers one-on-one, one of the best appeals for it is we have high-level producers who are all grinding to get to the next level. They're grinding to become full-time producers. It's an environment that rubs off on you. When you hear someone in the chat say, yeah, I just got a little TJ placement. Yeah, I just locked in with this big producer. If you're inside of the group chat, you're going to see that and you're going to be like, oh my God, like it's going to give you a kick up the ass. If you have one competitive bone in your body, you're not going to tolerate being in that group and being the lowest level person in the group. You're going to want to lift. When I joined my own mentorship program, it was the same thing. I felt like a fucking shit muncher because there's people doing 50K, 100K a month, and I'm like, fuck me, I need to work harder. Being around people who've already been where you want to go is a genuine cheat code because it rubs off on you. All right, next one is restart the dialogue. Chances are there's a lot of producers or there's a lot of artists you haven't talked to in a while. Simply just restarting the dialogue about things that don't even have to be music related very commonly segues into eventually working. Something as simple as replying to someone's story. Let's say it's completely unrelated to music. You reply to their story, start a conversation up, watch it segue into you guys working again or to you guys sharing opportunities. It always happens. Reply to more stories, talk to more people, be more social, and watch the opportunities fall into your lap. Especially if you've worked with the person before, it's a very natural way to segue into working and into making that progress. All right, next one. Networking doesn't have to be new people every time. I know people, their daily task is message 10 producers, connect with 10 new producers. It doesn't always have to be new people you've never spoken to. It's probably a more efficient time for you to reconnect with 10 producers that you haven't spoken to in a while. Because you guys have already talked, you've already worked together, you already like each other, you already trust each other. That's a lot more efficient use of time to get to where you want to go. So if your goal is to message 10 producers, why not just message the 10 producers who you've fallen out of touch with instead of new guys who you guys don't really know each other and it takes a while to get out of that surface level relationship point. All right, next one, your name gets mentioned in rooms you're not in. So I'm gonna start this with a real life example. I know this one producer, I was in a studio and someone played their loops and I was like, hold on a second. This person is known for fucking shit up when the song wants to come out because they ask for ridiculous advance amounts. Their manager is a complete cunt. Can we use other people's loops? And it's like, okay, let's get other people's loops up. Your name gets mentioned in rooms you're not in, and it's either in a positive way or a negative way. Your reputation is very important as a producer. If you were to piss everyone off when a song comes out because you asked for a ridiculous advance amount, and let's say it went through, even though you've made that extra money then, you've pissed off all these people who are going to be talking negatively about you in rooms that you're not in. And the amount of money that you've made here outweighs the amount of money that you could have made if you weren't a complete cunt. So yeah, be mindful of your reputation. Don't be a weird cunt in group chats. I know some people, they're just repulsive in group chats and it's just like, it's just unlikable. And then if someone gets up their loop, it's just, you know what I mean? Or if someone gets up their beat, it's just... All right, next one, responding slowly is amateur. This is especially important with people you're working close with, or if you have people working for you, let's say editors, thumbnail guys, sales guys, you're relying on someone to do something. Responding slowly is amateur. Last night when I originally filmed this video, I was so fucking close to firing a few people because they were pissing me off. They're responding so slowly. If your job is to make a fucking thumbnail, why does it take you so long to do it? Why does it take you 3 days to do it? Your job is to make thumbnails, make the fucking thumbnail. It shouldn't take so long. And at the very minimum, you should be responding quickly, even if it is gonna take 3 days. Hey bro, just as an update, it's gonna take a while because blah, 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 blah. But responding slowly is amateur. Especially, I notice all the high level producers I know, they respond like this. They're so quick to respond. It's not a coincidence that the low level producers take 3 days to respond. Don't be a low level producer. And when I say low level producer, I'm not even talking about achievements. I'm talking about things that you can control right now today. Responding slowly is amateur. It pisses people off. If someone messages me and they say, yo, can I send loops? That's not important. That's not time sensitive. But when things are time sensitive, people are not going to tolerate slow responses. Especially if you're dealing with high level people, they're not going to fucking tolerate it because they understand the importance of their time. They understand the importance of speed and doing things quickly. All right, next one. Don't major in the minors. A mentorship student, he asked me and he was like, what's the best time to network? And I was like, dude, you're worried about the wrong shit. Why not focus on becoming the person that no matter what time they send a networking message, everybody responds because people want to work with you? Why not focus on that instead of the ideal time? To answer that question seriously, I actually said just as long as they're awake, it's fine. But don't worry about the wrong shit. I have a friend, he got paid $400 to make an ebook for one of his clients. And it took the client 2 weeks, 15 revisions of the front page for the ebook. Because my friend is like, hey bro, here's the front page, I made a design. He goes, oh no, can you change this, can you change this? 2 fucking weeks! And I told my friend, I was like, bro, this guy is a fucking complete idiot. Because he's majoring in the minors. The difference between somebody getting value out of your ebook is not in the cover. It's not in the artwork at the front, it's what's inside the ebook. He's worried about the wrong shit. Don't be worried about the wrong shit. Oh, what's the best time to post a reel? Bro, You posting the reel at 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. is not the difference between it going viral or not going viral. It makes zero difference. What makes the difference is it a good reel? If it's a good reel, it's gonna go viral. If it's a shit reel, it's not gonna go viral. No posting time, no caption, no hashtag is gonna save you. So don't major in the minor. All right, next law, analyze people. I actually really like this. So everyone knows the Tristan Tate meme. He's like, I studied, bro. And even though it's a meme, what he's saying is actually extremely wise. Hear me out. If you're ever around high-level people, or maybe if you watch them online, go beyond the surface level and analyze them. Analyze what makes them tick. Analyze why they are successful. Analyze the habits and the routines and the level of discipline and what they do day to day. I genuinely find it very interesting. And the reason why is because a lot of the most successful people, they all have common traits. And when you identify these common traits, you realize, okay, well then I need to have that trait. Like, it's pretty obvious. If 10 of the most successful people on earth all have the same common traits and they all give the same piece of advice, then the advice is good. Don't argue with the advice. So I've actually written down in a Google Doc some traits that I've noticed between successful people. So I'll just go through them right now. So speed. Speed's a big one. Everything gets done quickly. Steve Jobs would want to implement a new feature and the developer would say, oh yeah, it's gonna take 5 months. And he'd say, no, do it in 4 weeks. And the guy would go like, oh, but that's impossible because blah, blah. He said, no, do it in 4 weeks. And every single time it got done in 4 weeks. And it was always a resounding success. Any ideas you have, turn them into reality now. Don't delay. It has to be action. All right, I got a few more, but I'm just gonna say one more. Another one is stress tolerance, right? Like the most successful people, they can tolerate a lot of stress. A lot of things go wrong. They have critics, they have haters, they have board members crying, they have employees, they have a lot of responsibility, they have a lot of management. Having a high stress tolerance keeps you functional. It keeps you from breaking down when things go wrong, which they inevitably are gonna go wrong. So let's get into the next point. All right, the next point is don't be ignorant. So if somebody who's gone where you want to go is giving you advice, don't sit there and question the advice and be like, no, I want to do it this way because blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? It makes no sense. Like, I want to say this in a polite way, but I just can't. It's like playing Sunday League and Ronaldo says, no, bro, you should probably change your technique to this. And you go, oh, well, I want to do it this way because fucking why, mate? Ronaldo's just giving you a piece of advice and you're sitting there, a shit-munching Sunday League player with the fucking audacity to tell Ronaldo why he's wrong and why you're right. But you play Sunday League and Ronaldo's Ronaldo. This is an analogy, it's a metaphor. But some people are so ignorant that they think that they know everything. To be honest, if you're up to this part in the video, I'm going to assume that you're not ignorant because you're listening to advice and you're learning. Ignorant people wouldn't have even clicked on the video. So I guess for the people watching this video, just be aware of ignorant people. Be aware that there's gonna be people with 23 followers telling you why your samples are bad when you've already gone Billboard and this guy's just some shit. There was a guy actually in my comment section, literally, I don't even know if he's a real human, and he was arguing with a Billboard #1 producer about why the Billboard #1's producer loops were bad and why his were better. Why are you telling a Billboard #1 producer his loops are bad and yours are better when you have nothing to show for it? And then you click on his page and his loops are fucking shit. It's pure ignorance. Whenever a successful person tells me to do something, I shut the fuck up and I listen and I implement it. Because they clearly know something that I don't. Clearly, because they're where I want to be. So I'm gonna humble myself and I'm gonna listen. I'm not gonna be egotistical and be like, well, my way is better, because that would be stupid. All right, next one. When you find what works, keep doing it. So even though this seems like basic advice, very important. When you find a style of loop that works well, when you find an email subject line that works well, when you find a style of YouTube video that works well, when you find a DM outreach message that works well, when you find a sales closing script that works well, keep using it, keep doubling down on it, because you've done the hard work, which is finding out what works. It doesn't make sense to do the opposite. And the reason why I say this is because sometimes I see people, they crack the code for the real. I'm very guilty of what I'm about to say. You find a style of reel that works well, and then you go, oh, well, I don't want to post the same style of reel. I want to try and see if this style works well. And it's like, you've already done the hard work, which is finding out what works, and now you're not doing it. Oh, but the viewers, they want to see variety. No, they don't. The viewers want to see that style of reel. That's why they liked that reel, and that's why they didn't like all these other reels. So double down on what already works. Watch everything speed up. This is actually a very important point because you have to implement this. Let's say you've posted YouTube videos. Look at the ones that have done the best and keep making videos like that. Like, I'm so fucking guilty of this. It's not even funny. And I've learned this the hard way and I'm sharing it with you guys. Next law, it's a network or quality issue. If you're trying to get placement, you need a good network and good quality samples or beats. If you cannot get placements, or if you're struggling, you're lacking in one of the two, or you're lacking in both, and you need to figure out which one it is ASAP. I have found personally the producers that I speak to inside of my mentorship program, also the producers I speak to in DMs, it's a network issue. It kind of feels like if you've been producing for a while, like let's say a few years, it's definitely a network issue, because unless you're fucking deaf, your samples or your beats are already at a good enough level for them to get placed, which means you have to put more effort into networking. It's a more productive use of your time to get to where you want to go. All right, next law, use AI more. So AI is an absolute game changer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a link in the description for my recent AI video. It's about how producers are blowing up their careers. They're making way more sales using AI. I'm spilling crazy game. I'm not gonna talk about too much in this video. I'm gonna leave it in the description. Can't go into as much detail in the time that I have now. Watch this first, and then you can check that one out later if you wanna learn how to use AI. All right, next law. What is riskier? Some people are hesitant to take certain types of actions that they know they have to take to get to another level. But the reality is, it's riskier for you to stay where you are right now and not progress and not take that risk than it is to take the risk. It's riskier to stay where you are right now. If you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're producing a bit on the side, and you've been trying for 2 to 3 years and you haven't been getting results, and it feels like everyone is around you getting results, it is riskier to stay here than it is to take that risk. Whether that's joining chart chasers and getting around like-minded producers, being around people who have already been where you want to go, booking that flight, sending that message, starting a personal brand, whatever it is, it's more riskier not to do it. It's more riskier not to do it, because as time goes on, as you get older, let's say you hit 28, 29, and people around you are very financially secure and you're kind of dabbling in between producing, but you kind of don't know if it's for you, you're eventually just going to give up. It's going to seem like a distant memory. You have to commit. If you're in a building and the building's on fire, and you run to the balcony and there's a ladder that can take you down and can save you from the fire that's about to kill you, but you look at the ladder and the ladder is a bit rusty and it's a bit shaky, and you're like, oh, you know, this might be a bit unsafe getting down. What are you going to do? Are you going to just stand there and let the fire kill you? Or are you going to walk down the fucking ladder? It's an excellent metaphor for the risk, because taking the risk, which is walking down the risky ladder, makes perfect logical sense. You can't just stand in the fire. Some of you guys are standing in the fire. Some of you guys are too hesitant to move and to take action, and you're getting burned alive. You have to take the ladder down. Even though the ladder is a bit bumpy, even though it's not going to be a smooth ride, at least you're going to come out alive at the end. You can see all the testimonials of people inside of chart chasers. They took the risk. They took the bet on themselves, and now look at the results that they're getting. It's not a coincidence. All right, next one. Make yourself as irreplaceable as possible. So the less replaceable you are, the more memorable you are, the more people are going to come to you. You're going to attract an audience. You're going to attract a network rather than going out and having to get it. When you do things that other people aren't prepared to do, you're going to become a different level of replaceable than other people are. I'm just going to use the guitar as an example again. You can make yourself less replaceable as a loop maker by learning the guitar. And then imagine if you learn the guitar, but you also learn this other instrument. So you learn these 2 instruments. Now you have a very unique skill set that puts you in the top 1% of producers. You are now less replaceable because you can do something that a lot of people can't do. Because you bought the instruments and you learned the instruments that other people weren't prepared to learn. The reality is the industry doesn't care about you. You have to give them a reason to care. And the best way to do this is to make yourself stand out, to make yourself less replaceable than all of the other producers out there. Clicking in a piano MIDI on contact, anyone can do that, mate. My fucking grandma can do that. All right, next one. Environment is more important than discipline. Imagine if you were in an Airbnb around 10 other high-level producers who are all grinding. No one's playing fucking video games, no one's slacking off, everyone's grinding, they're sharing their connections. You guys are going to the gym, you're eating well, etc., etc. Even if you're not a disciplined person, you're gonna naturally lift because of your environment, because of the people that you're around. It's very easy to create a new standard for yourself through your environment. Compare that to living in a fucking crack den and you're surrounded by crack smokers and you're there in your corner with your FL Studio open trying to send out loops. Even if you're the most disciplined person in the world, you're gonna start smoking crack. It's only a matter of time, right? You're just pushing shit uphill. This is why your environment is more important than your discipline. If you guys are watching this and you're living with your parents and every time you try to make loops or you're trying to lock in, they come in and say, hey, walk the dogs, do the dishes, can you help me with the printer, blah, 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 blah. Even though you're disciplined, it's literally like pushing shit uphill. You wanna put yourself in an environment where it's impossible for you not to win. It truly outweighs discipline. A practical tip that I can give you guys is if you have to do work on your laptop, just go to a library, right? Because when you're in a library, you're surrounded by other people who are also working. Maybe your laptop, like everyone can see your screen, so you're not gonna be watching YouTube shorts. It actually just changes your energy and your work ethic and your discipline. So environment is very important. Don't neglect it. Arguably, it's more important than discipline. All right, next one is stop hanging out with losers. So this kind of feeds into what I was just saying, but they say you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around. If you're just hanging around losers, you're just gonna become a loser. If you're hanging around people who are constantly in your ear, bro, that video you posted was cringe, you're not gonna get anywhere, mate, because it's just gonna infect you. If you're hanging around with losers, your worldview is gonna be tarnished, it's gonna be infected, and you're gonna become an idiot, and you're gonna become one of those losers as well. I personally would rather hang around winners. I want to hang around people who have the same mindset as me, who are on the same goal as me, who have the same level of determination as me. I want to hang around people in chart chases. I don't want to hang around some little cunt producer who produces for 2 hours and they go, I'm tired. I'm gonna go watch a movie now. Someone was telling me they're on a Discord call and that's what a guy was saying. I don't want to hang around that guy because it rubs off on you. It makes you think, oh, you know, I'm tired. I'm gonna watch a movie now. No, you're not watching a fucking movie, mate. I would rather hang out with people who are talking about placements and who are talking about making money and who are talking about personal brand and who are talking about how to grow your YouTube. I want to be talking about this 24/7. If you're a lone wolf and you don't have high level people around you, and let's say you're a 6 out of 10 producer, compare that to a 6 out of 10 producer who is around high level people, who's constantly being exposed to this kind of information and all they're thinking about is placements and money and personal brand going full time. Who's gonna win? Even though you guys are at the same level, who's gonna win? This guy's obviously gonna win because he's adopting a worldview that's pushing him a positive way. It's infecting his mind in a positive way compared to this guy who might be getting weighed down or they're a lone wolf. It's just very, very difficult. All right, next one. If you're making content, this is very important. So you want an attract to nurture ratio. If you're making content, there's 2 types of content. There's content that attracts a new audience. It gets people into the top of your funnel. And then there is the nurture content, which is the people who are already in the funnel. They're being nurtured, they're being warmed up, they're growing more of a relationship with you. Now, it's important that you have a good ratio of this. I know some marketers, they say you want to have an 80-20 attract to nurture ratio. I think 60-40 is okay. A personal mistake I've been making is I've been doing way too much nurture content and not enough attract. And that means that the funnel dries up and you're not getting new people in. You want to be focused on getting new people in. And this goes back to what I was saying previously, which is about double down on what works. If you know an attract style of reel or an attract style of YouTube video is really good and you want to get new people into your funnel, just double down on that. I personally find nurture content is very easy to make and attract content is a bit more difficult, but you need new people coming in. You need new people following you, new subscribers. It's the lifeblood of your entire brand. All right, next one. Things are gonna go wrong all the time. So I'm gonna use an example. My friend, he had been grinding so hard for the past few months and it felt like life was just kicking him in the ass. He was working a 9 to 5 and his online business and all sorts of shit was being thrown at him. And we've been talking about it and I was like, bro, a win is around the corner. This is the universe, this is God testing you to see if you're worthy of the next level. And he was like, yeah, bro, I know, like I just gotta thug it out. This is when 99% of people quit. I didn't see him for a week, and then I caught up with him, and I was like, bro, what's been happening? And he's like, bro, you wouldn't believe it. And he started listing all of these good things that had happened to him in a week. It was just like a week of straight wins. It was 3-4 months of stored wins had all come in that 1 week. And I was like, wow, that is amazing because it's a testament to show that a win is around the corner. And when things get hard, when things go bad, which it is gonna go bad, just remember that 99% of people are gonna quit. And that's what makes you a fucking beast. And 2, it is a test from the universe. It's a test from God to see if you're worthy of the next level. And the reason why this is so important, because no matter what level you're at, when you want to get to the new level, you're going to go through this. It's not like this is only applicable to people starting their business. No, you could be making $1 million a year. And what I'm saying is still as true. You're getting tested before the next level. They're trying to see, are you worthy of it? Are you going to persevere? Are you going to be able to push through? Are you going to be able to keep your head up and keep attacking with the same level of intensity every day, even though you're getting brutally fucked left, right, and center by all sorts of bullshit? All right, last law, watch your diet. Now, this is not necessarily about what you're eating. It's about what's coming into your mind and what's coming into your body. This includes the content that you watch, the people you hang around, the conversations you have. It's all coming in. It's all programming your mind, either positively or negatively. You watching this video is programming your mind positively. You watching short form videos is programming your mind negatively. Be mindful of your diet. Be mindful of what's coming in because the mind is a precursor to the actions And if your mind is just letting in garbage 24/7, it's gonna be very difficult to win. This is why I stopped listening to fucking Rod Wave. He's always depressed and he's always crying about some shit. If I'm listening to that 24/7, I'm gonna be fucking depressed as well. Like, it's programming your mind. I'd rather listen to some guy whipping around supercars and making money. You know, even though it sounds kind of stupid, like I would rather my mind be programmed positively than in a depressed manner. I don't want to be depressed. Why would I want to watch sad movies? Why would I want to talk to sad people? I don't want to. I want to be programmed positively. I want to be consuming content. I want to watch my diet and make sure it's positively impacting me. This is why I'm talking about hanging around with winners, because that influences your mind. It programs your mind positively because it just rubs off on you. Compare that to being around people you know from high school, for example, who go, no, bro, you need a break. Like, you're going to get burnt out. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to listen to some cunt who believes in burnout. I don't want to hear that. I would rather listen to someone who says, stop being a little bitch. It's time to keep going. Because that's your diet. Like, that's what's programming your mind. Really quick, while this video is still fresh in your head, imagine checking your phone 6 months from now and seeing your first major placement. Most producers will never reach that point because they're too busy guessing the next move. My program Chart Chasers removes the guesswork. We map the entire situation out one-on-one, step by step, and you're gonna notice the momentum shift the moment that you join. We've got private one-on-one calls, 24/7 feedback, all of the kits that I've ever dropped, free, a personal brand, mindset, and placement course. It's already happening for the guys inside. They're already moving. So the question is, when you decide to step in. Now I keep the group capped so everyone gets real attention. Since it's one-on-one, I can't take everyone, I can't give everyone enough time that they deserve, but we do have a couple of seats open at the time of recording. So you can click the link below and apply to see if it's a good fit, to see whether it makes sense. And worst case, you'll book the call, you get on the call, and you walk away with more clarity on your next move. And best case, you're the next success story that I'm bragging about and that I'm talking about. So a bit more information below. I hope you guys got value out of this video, and I'll speak to you guys soon.